Now imagine you are the product manager for Instagram stories specifically. What are the metrics that you want to look at on a daily basis for Instagram stories?
Okay. Gotcha. Um, okay. Please give me some second to think about it.
Yeah.
And for me to answer the question, I will tackle this problem in the few parts. The first one, I will talk about the general product rationale, and also connecting with the Mantas mission, Instagram mission, and also setting goal like for the overall, like maybe find a little bit like for North Star matrix. And after that, I will think about the general user segmentation and also some key stakeholder. And then I will brainstorm some of the key metrics and track those key metrics and do the prioritization. And if we have enough time, I'm happy to discuss more for the trade-off. Will everything sounds great?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, then I will need some second to think about the question. Yeah. Before I begin the question, I will have two questions. So the first question is like for the platform, Instagram have both mobile and website. Maybe is there any specific you want me to focus on?
No, just a
Okay,
platform. You're the PM for the whole Instagram story.
okay. And also for the high level goal, I can set it by myself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so at the beginning, I wanna talk a little bit about Manta's mission first. Manta have the mission to connect people in the world together and also build the community. And Instagram definitely align with the goal. And Instagram have the mission to find a tool for people to share the world moments. And I find a lot of alignment like in the ecosystem. And also like for the current stage of Instagram, Instagram is a really like maybe billion users platform. So I feel like currently I will pay more attention to the engagement compared to acquisition. And yeah, that's the main idea like for the beginning. Any question? No? Okay. Um, And then I want to move to a little bit like for the user side and also brainstorm for the user journey. Yeah. So I think I will talk about the stakeholder first. For the main stakeholder, I feel we have the creator and also the consumer. And for the creator side, I think I will also separate into two parts. One is merchant. The other one will be more casual use case. Like like we are friends and we just follow each other and like understand friends like special moment. So I feel that's how I separate. That makes sense, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Um
How do you want to define merchants?
how do I define merchants? Um I feel uh I actually maybe I will add one dimension for here. Maybe also like I will do the influencer, and for the influencer, I feel I can separate in the two part. One is merchant, and the other one is like just maybe like people like Taylor Swift who are really famous like in the social media. And for the merchants part, I will a little bit specialize for maybe in Instagram shops. Like maybe they're influencer or maybe they're not, but basically they will sell the product on the platform.
Okay, so you want to define merchants as people who have
Uh, Instagram shops.
okay, so they have to have an e-commerce entity on Instagram.
Um, I feel for my definition, it should be, but we can also I feel, but so the main idea is I feel the general ecosystem for the Instagram is already really good. So I feel most of the time they will have the TikTok shop, but also some of them maybe have their own website to sell the products. So I think both of them can be the merchants.
Okay. Um, so how do you want to define merchants again?
Um, Maybe more needs driven, just the account who want to sell products,
How do
no
you
matter.
how do you know they want to sell products?
Um, if they have TikTok shop, they must can sell the product. And the other part will be um maybe like for their post, it's more product information in the post, or I feel most of the merchant will write a kind of like description for their own product, like as a kind of highlight at the top. So that one can also, yeah. Um, are you clear for the
So
definition?
you're
What you
telling
want
me
me?
either they are a shop owner on Instagram, or you want to analyze their content to decide whether they want to promote the product or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
that that's clear for you for this part. And are you okay if we move to the user journey and also brainstorm for the matrix? Or
Uh,
more question here?
you talk about creator and consumer. Do you want to
Mhm.
talk about anything on the consumer side?
For the consumer side, um, I feel yeah, I feel they're just more general, like just people who view the post or view the story or view the reels. I feel it's more general. Maybe I will not do a lot of segmentation here.
Okay.
Or maybe do you have any specific part here I can expand more?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. And I need a little bit second to think about like the user journey for both the creator and also the consumer. Yeah. Okay. I can begin to talk about the user journey. For the creator, I feel I talk about the creator first because we need to have the content first, and then the consumer can view those contents. So I will begin with the creator. And for the creator, for a more awareness part, they will sign up in the Instagram, have an account, and after that, a kind of activation, it will be they will build their own profile. So they will upload their profile picture and maybe write some of the highlights on their profile. And then I will move to the more engagement for the creator part. They will begin to post something, some picture, maybe add the audio for those picture also. And also they will post the story and post the reels. As a creator, they may also use the Meta AI to create some of the picture or find something. And that will be the parts for the creator, and then move to the consumer. The consumer began to see those
Let me
content.
pause you here a little bit. You are the product manager for Instagram stories.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Um, then maybe I can talk more specifically for Instagram story user journey. Sorry, I missed the information like for the story part.
Yeah, and if you want to change anything that you had before, just you can also do that, but do it quick, because
Okay.
we have like more
Uh,
than 10 minutes
I
left.
think I think for the activation, it will be all the same, but just for the engagement, it will be the creator post the story, and after that, the consumer can begin to comment the story, like the story, and or add some emoji, and they can also message the creator like to all the information, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I will talk a little bit like for the matrix for each of the user journey. So for the user journey, um, I will the first one will definitely the number of I feel the number of sign up it will not that's important for the in story because I feel like for the in story I will more focus on the like activation and engagement part because you need to at least have a profile then you can begin to post something, right?
Don't ask me, you tell me what I should do.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you need to at least have sign up the account and also build the initial profile so that you can post something so that you can your friends can reply it. And so I will more focus on maybe the number of story per user post per month. And also the number of comments per user per month they are doing, and then like the number of likes per user per month, or the number of emoji per user per month, and also the number of message because I feel most of time people send the message is because of they want a response for the story compared to a normal like as a communication tool. But I can also like do it more directly, maybe like just count for the number of time like for each user after they post a story, maybe like how much what is the number they receive a message per month. Yeah.
I didn't catch that part.
Okay. More clear it will be um the total of the message the user receive from the story channel per month will per user. Will that make sense?
Okay, I have several questions.
Uh-huh.
First one, why do you want to per user?
Because I wanna see the like more average for the active user, like because this one is more like for each step in the user journey, how I evaluate the success for like the activity for that step. So I wanna do it as per user.
Okay. Second question, what is the difference between like comments per user per month versus messages per user per month?
Uh,
Because if
so
you react to the story or send a comment, that's an automatic message, right? So your message volume should equals the number of comments and the number of likes or emojis.
mm, sorry, I feel they are a little bit similar, but if I need to differentiate them, I feel for the comments, maybe it's more like one sentence. And for the message, I'm more interested about like after that one starting sentence, like how much more they will communicate. Like maybe sometime you guys will just catch up like one sentence and react with one emoji, but some of the time you guys will, chat for a while. Like maybe that's a really funny story or maybe some reason. So maybe we can differentiate or we can also combine it. But that's a small matrix. So yeah,
So you want to look at the follow-up messages.
yeah.
Got it. Anything else?
Yeah, and that's the part for the user journey. And furthermore, I definitely will think about um the total time on set for the ins story. And when I evaluate the time, I will consider the beginning will from maybe that will be a little bit hard question. I feel maybe I for the time on site I need to separate from the creator side and also the consumer side. And for the creator side, it's more about like how much time that creator used to create the story.
Okay, so you want to evaluate time spent for content creation.
Yeah. And also like the time that's the consumer watch the story, because some of the time maybe the consumer will not finish their story, so I will also think about like the time on site for the consumer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it will be more general matrix like the monthly active user. Basically, when I define the active means they at least maybe one time they have begun to check out the story or posted the story. Yeah. And for me to do the prioritization, since we have discussed a little bit before that I want to focus on the engagement for the in story. Wait, sorry, I just did this. Sorry, before I didn't heard about the in story. So like before I discussed with you that I want to focus on the engagement for the Instagram. But now like for the in story, I feel I will also focus on the engagement.
Yeah.
Because in story is also like a kind of popular feature that have been launched for a while. So yeah, definitely focus on the engagement. And also there maybe most of time no revenue from the in story. So I feel like engagement will make more sense. So basis on the goal, I will prioritize the monthly active user as the North Star matrix for the in story. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Anything else?
no, maybe I can do a quick summary or
No. No need to. Let's say I have a follow-up question. Let's say right now you see the number of stories created
Mhm.
declined for about like 10% month over month. Can you tell me why?
Okay. So I need to figure out the number of story which being created decreased by 10%. Okay. Let me think. Number of story. I just want to clarify, we only target on the story that they post compared to like someone may also create a story, but they will add it a lot and they didn't post it because like they will save it for maybe post it later. So maybe I can reframe it to number of story the user post. Will that be better?
Yeah.
Okay. And will that be like how may I have some second to think about like how to frame the question? Okay, maybe I need to do a little bit clarification question. So the first one is, do we have specific data about like for in what location the number of story posted decrease? Is there any special countries or regions?
No, I don't have any more information here. So just tell me how you are gonna approach this problem.
Okay. Yeah, I think how I approach it, at the beginning, I need to check out some basic data, maybe includes like separate it in more like in the like is there any specific location that's decreased more, and also is there any special user group that decrease, or in any platform, maybe like there are lots of decrease in the mobile app or lots of decrease in the website. So at the beginning, I will check out those data to make sure maybe I can see some data train, like or something happen in there, like to make it more narrow down.
Mhm.
And after that, um, I I need to clarify a little bit what is maybe the time frame. Like, like they drop 10%, but like from what time, like maybe like 10 months, or it is
Oh,
recently, or
we,
yeah,
we, we said month over month.
months over months. Okay, okay. Uh may we, sorry, I'm not that clear for the months over months. So that's basically will like how we calculate the 10%, like based on the months over months. Like,
So your this month is 10% lower than your past month.
okay, gotcha. Um, and may I, let me think. This month is 10% lower than last month. Um, And in the data, may we say a little bit like, is this matrix just decrease really suddenly, or it's progressively? No information.
You tell me what are you gonna do when it declines suddenly or gradually?
Okay. Okay, no problem. So, so then I definitely will separate in the one is suddenly change and the other one is progressive change. And if it is a suddenly change, most of time I will consider some of the external and internal factors. And for the internal factor, I will be interested in if there is a suddenly change, maybe there is something wrong with the data resources, or maybe there is some bug like in the production code. Like so that like if there are a bug in the production code and user cannot use it in the one day, so definitely the number will drop, right? Um, and also I will also consider um maybe is there any release product change, like anything happen for our current story, like we change some of the feature, and maybe that feature like the user really don't like it, and so they will not use the story post anymore because they hate that feature. it may happen. And also for other product feature or product line, maybe we add something new feature, and that's really fine. And then maybe like because of the novelty effect, the user just move to that new feature and they're a little bit like, compete with each other. So some of the time, like maybe they will grab the attention from the story. Yeah. Let me think. And also if there yeah, and also then I will move to the external factors. So the first one for the external factor, I will think about maybe like seasonality. So basically maybe like for last month, maybe it's holiday and we have really, high total story post. And most of the time when I do the traveling, I will post every day, like post like 3 to 5 story. However, like if I finish my holiday, maybe I will, like just send nothing. So maybe some of the time we can check out if there anything relevant with the seasonality.
Mhm.
And also any maybe industry trends, maybe some bad news happens for Meta. For example, our privacy for the in-story is not that good, or our data is leaking, and so that the user began to, like didn't use our story anymore.
Okay. What about if it is gradual change?
If it is a graduate change, I will think about the first one. I think I will begin to try to decompose the matrix. So the number of story post, the total number of the story post, maybe we can separate it in different smaller matrix, maybe according to different location or different platform or different kind of user account. Then maybe like I can know more detailed information for what parts of the user cause the number to drop. That's when will be the first part that I want to deep dive a little bit more.
Okay, you were talking about breakdown. What if you did breakdown and it's across all the user segments?
And then I will consider, so you mean like for all the user segments, they have the decrease, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe I need to think a little bit more. Um, either then I will also check about information for the relevant products. So will that job is specifically for the in story, or it's also like for the in post? Also like reels, like it is company wide or just a feature wide.
Mhm.
And if it is company wide, maybe then I will also consider, I don't know, maybe some bad reputation thing happen, or actually yeah, that's a little bit difficult. Like if it is a company, well, I don't know how to figure out the reason. Like maybe, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other stuff to add?
Um, let me think. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to do a little bit summary like for the graduate change, because I feel when I answer it, it's not like structured enough. So like more step by step. At first I will check out if the relevant product line or feature experience the same change. And after that, I will decompose the matrix. So like I try to separate the total story post number into smaller parts, maybe like into more like existing user plus new user plus maybe rated user and manage the churn user, and so that this one will be like I will separate like in this way so that maybe I can see more detail. And at last, if there were like looks like normal, maybe I will think about like more demographic or behavior driven one, like from
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all.
What do you think?
Um, I feel uh I feel like for the in story parts, it's one of my biggest mistake. Like I heard it's a in story, but I just didn't remember it, and I just randomly do it as in story ins compared to in story. Yeah, so that's the one of the really big mistake. Um, and furthermore, I think and then I feel like for the ins and in story when I do the user, um, that will be I think it's fine for still segment into creator and consumer, and also business use case and casual use case, because some of the merchant they also do the story and try to attract more attention for their maybe like annual sale or just I don't know, but I feel other thing will still make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving my feedback.
Okay.
You definitely need to practice more. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Practice more execution and also understand Instagram as a product or like all the like meta portfolio products deeper. You clearly don't use Instagram that much. So you probably want to know more. And when you are using the product, think about the product from a product manager perspective, not from a user perspective. So stuff that you did pretty great. You lay out your structure. First, that is a very like structured answer. It's very easy for the interviewer to follow. You come from mission, which is something that Meta really value. They want to like always come from a mission, always from a product strategy. And you narrow it down to focus on engagement, which is like a pretty good start. But then when you talk about creator, I keep pressing you how you define merchant, right? Because you're telling me that you're gonna analyze content and whether those people are shop owners. I just want to identify whether they are merchants, right? You're telling me that I need to even analyze their content. As a data scientist, I don't even want to analyze the content, right? You are telling me, like, you are giving me more work to analyze something that you are not 100% sure. How you define merchants is literally whether those messages are coming from sponsored messages, right? Because Instagram also have sponsored stories as well. You can know whether they're ads or not.
But I feel some of the influencer they are also like will not do the sponsor. But yeah, I definitely should include advertisement like as one part of the user.
Yeah, you're the PM for Instagram story. You have to consider ads on story. That is a North Star, like one of the like OKRs for you to drive revenue. Right? If Instagram story is not driving revenue, then Instagram story is not as important as it is today, right? So you have to consider ads. And when you are talking about, like, let's just say you're talking about the merchants that are not using sponsored message. It doesn't make sense for me to, when you define metrics for this, because you are not doing a product design question. You are doing metrics. You are defining metrics. Can you tell me what is the difference between a merchant that is not using sponsored story versus a normal content creator? What is the difference in the metrics that you want to track?
Yeah, I cannot tell the difference.
You're still tracking the number of stories created, the number of comments, likes, emoji, right? The engagement metrics. Those are exactly the same. So that's not helping. That's not helping you defining the metrics, right? Talking about the ads managers help you with the metrics, right? Because that is a new metric, revenue, involved in this Instagram story.
Mm-hmm.
right? So you like totally forgot about another like marketplace there, right? Content marketplace is not the only marketplace that exists on story. Ads is also. And you are the PM for all the whole Instagram story, you have to consider both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right.
And that's the first thing. So I was super confused, like when you talk about like analyzing content, that is just not a very efficient way to identify those user segments, right? And not to mention, if you are not talking about sponsor story, that user segment doesn't even make sense. So there's that. And for consumer side, you tell me that you don't have segmentation. If the interviewer press you on this, then you have to have a segmentation. Okay, it's fine if you're saying that for the consumer side, it's basically like consuming and engaging with the content. Then probably the metrics that we are tracking is going to be like very universal. So like I probably don't want to dive deeper to break it down. But if you want me to break it down, I'm totally down to do it. And then see how the interviewer gives you suggestions, right? If the interviewer gives you suggestion, then you probably want to talk about how are you defining the engagement for different consumers by their current engagement, right? Whether they're a highly engaged member or whether they're infrequent members or whether they're dormant members, they just never use Instagram story, but they use other Instagram offering, right? You have to like tell me, because you're driving engagement, then you're defining the consumers based on engagement.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a way to segmentate this, right? Because even like for a lot of product teams, let's say, those are even different teams responsible for it. There will be teams specifically driving infrequent members. There will be teams that are driving dormant members. When you're saying the acquisition part, you are the PM for Instagram story. You're not thinking about the acquisition for a whole Instagram. You're thinking about acquisition for Instagram story. So if you want to break the consumer down, you also need to think about the dormant members who use like post or whatever other product, but just not using Instagram stories, right? So that's how you break the consumer side down. When you talk about user journey, I was also confused because if you're just defining metrics for Instagram story, you don't need to go through the user journey.
Okay. So why don't I go through the user journey? Because I feel like it will be a funnel analysis. So like for every step, like the conversion maybe also important.
Yeah, but to define success metrics, or like think about this, right? My question is, you're the PM for Instagram story. Tell me the list of metrics that you will see every single day.
Oh, okay.
That is the email that you receive every morning to see whether Instagram story has something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine if you want to like talk about the user journey, but like the user journey that you share doesn't make sense. Like if you talk about, let's say from the creator side, right? How many like what you said later, how many creators initiate the content creation, how many people actually post the story, right? And then you can talk about maybe how many people highlight the story, right? That is like the user journey. And from consumer side, then how many people click into the first story? How many people click even more, right? How many people of the stories that they visited, right? And how many ads they saw, right? That is the user journey, but like not from creating profile kind of user journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So I just need to talk about the important parts of the user journey. And I don't need to talk the whole user journey.
yeah, because you're the PM for Instagram, you're Instagram story, you're not the PM for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If there is something wrong, let's say, that's why I'm asking you about diagnose question, right? If there's something wrong, let's say content creation dropped 10%. Now is the time for you to go through the whole user journey and see whether there is a problem with user growth, whether there is a problem with DAU, whether there are like other teams problems. So I have to define whether that problem is even for me to diagnose, right? If it is just a daily active user drop, then there should be some other PMs taking care of it. It shouldn't be my team spending effort on this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But back to your metric question, you're an Instagram story PM. You don't need to care about the Instagram sign-up metric. That's not even the OKR.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the journey part also doesn't really make sense for me. for the metrics, first of all, per user is definitely wrong. I don't even have Instagram data. I can tell you it's wrong. Okay. But that's fine. That is not like a totally red flag for me, because I think if you haven't been a product manager for social media, then it is totally fine that you don't actually know the reality of the data. The reason why it is wrong is for Instagram, a huge platform like that, right? Daily active user past 1 billion members, there will be a lot of fake accounts and bad behaviors. And let's say there are like 1 million, 2 million fake accounts. They don't even engage with the platform. And you use the total content creation divided by the total member of Instagram. That doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
You need to kill those fake accounts, right? So if I don't think this number is going to be helpful for you if you look at the per user. There is a possibility there will be like, let's say 10 million per day content creation. And then if you divide it by user, then you will get a super low number, like 0.01 like metric. Then how can you even track this metric, right? Are you like tracking like increase 10%, down 10%, right? The benchmark you have is 0.01. That's not like doable for a team to measure the success. So it's just like not quite doable for you to do like per user. And that's one confusion I have, but that's not like totally red flag. Another confusion I have is you talk about monthly users. You always talk about per month, but you should know if you interview Meta that they're tracking daily metrics.
Okay.
It's not like LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn track weekly metrics. You know why LinkedIn track weekly metrics? Because our engagement on weekends is very low. People don't look for jobs or like engage with professional network when it is on weekend, right? So it has a clear pattern for LinkedIn to have a weekly pattern. But for Meta, they are like casual social media. The members using them like on a daily basis should be very similar, right? Their user behavior, their user intent should be very similar. It's very legit for you to like track daily members. And if you just Google it, right? The North Star metric for Instagram, they will tell you daily active user and revenue. This is something you have to know. Okay, big product like Instagram and Meta, they have to track daily. They're not even track weekly. It doesn't make sense for you to track weekly. Even for TikTok, they already track daily. You're not competing, like you have to compete with them. Okay, so you have to track daily members, daily active user too. So monthly doesn't make sense. And you only talk about the positive metric that you want to track. So here is the pitfall that I was waiting for you. Okay, now I can tell you you don't have ecosystem thinking.
The
You're
content matrix. I forgot.
Yeah, you only talk about like the metric that you want to, or like the positive metrics, right? Or like you can talk about North Star or signpost metrics, but you're not talking about guardrail. Guardrail metric is the metrics that you don't want them to improve, like the fake accounts one, like bad content, like bad behavior, right? You probably want to track how many stories are there in a day that are just are just like maybe violent sexual content, right? That the content that you cannot even like have violation on the platform, right? Content violation. You probably want to track that as bad behavior. You probably also want to track people like unfollow others, or like block people, restrict people just because they view their story, right? You want to keep that number as low as possible as well. So that is ecosystem thinking, because you have to think about like instead of like improving these type of metrics, there are also a type of a set of metrics that you want to control beyond a certain limit, right? And also another thing to see your ecosystem thinking is that there will be times that if there is a fluctuation on Instagram stories metrics, you probably even don't need to care about this. So that's why I talk about the diagnose problem later, right? So what we haven't thought about is, if you think about the engagement overall, for Instagram, we will talk about the Instagram daily active user, right? And their revenue. They probably have other metrics to track as like a company basis, but let's just talk about these two. For Instagram stories, you have engagement and you have revenue. For post, you also have engagement and revenue, right? Whatever feature that you ramp on Instagram stories, if it is gonna kill post, it's not a good feature, right? Because this is a whole ecosystem. You have to make sure as an ecosystem, daily active user and revenue is net positive to ramp any feature, right? If you do something with Instagram story, raise Instagram story revenue by $1 million, and then post is telling you that post is declining $10 million, this is a very failure product feature to ramp, right? So whatever the same thing with engagement, whatever engagement metrics that you drive for Instagram stories, it had to be a total a net positive for the daily active user for Instagram as a whole too, right? You can't just like increase, let's say, time spent on Instagram story for 1 minute, and then people spending time on post decline 10 minutes, right? It also doesn't make sense. So because Instagram story and Instagram post exist, both of them exist on homepage. And also homepage is a huge driver for Reels and other product pillars as well. You probably want to keep an eye on the engagement and revenue for other pillars, because Instagram story is like on the very top of the homepage, right? Whatever you are doing is gonna affect the other pillars metrics. So this is ecosystem thinking.
So should I talk them on the counter matrix or guardrail matrix that I want to monitor?
I think it's counter metrics. It is not exactly guardrail like the fake accounts or bad behavior, right? Those guardrail metrics is like you cannot just keep growth as like the single only thing that you are thinking about. You have to also think about like the potential negative impact, right? So these are mostly like signpost metrics or like counter metrics that you just talked about. So this is like the metric question. And for diagnose question, I think you did diagnose better than your metrics. First, you talk about like breaking down most of the scenario. You have to confirm with the interviewer, but most likely the interviewer won't have more data for you. It is not like a consulting interview. Consulting interview, the interviewer has exactly the data to provide for you to land you on a single direction answer. But for product management, we're looking for your thinking process. We're looking for your structure, right? So you did a pretty good job talking about like breakdowns. You also did a pretty good job talking about like whether it is a sudden change or a gradual change, because this is going to define like everything. And when you talk about sudden change, you also talk about like external, internal factor. About data sources, I think if I'm a very strict interviewer, if we have more time, I will probably press a little bit more on the data sources, because if it is a sudden change, then I would expect you to say something like whether this change is even real, right? From the data perspective, whether this is a trustworthy data for us to start the investigation. That will put your answer on the like from 3 out of 5 to 4 out of 5 for sure. Because you have to challenge the question that the problem that you receive. Because as a product manager, you are leading a cross-functional team behind you to investigate in any problems, right? Any engineering is involved, any BizOps people involved, data scientists involved. It is your resourcing that you get from the original product that they're working on, right? So whatever war room you involved, it will delay your other projects. So you have to make sure that this is a real problem before you even invest in this, right? So it is super like great. You talk about data sources, whether it is a bug, whether there are new feature releases, whether there will be novelty effect. These are like perfect answer. And then you also talk about seasonality, across industry comparison, also media like attention. Those are like really like experienced answer that you provided here. And for gradual change, you don't have that much. So
I feel that's why it's more PM for graduate.
here's the thing, okay? I didn't really get it when you analyze the user journey when you talk about success metrics. But here is the time that you should talk about user journey.
Okay.
If you're talking about gradual change, decline, then what you want to talk about is, first, I want to check what we just said, the Instagram DAU, whether it's just people are not coming to the platform, right? If people are not coming to the platform, then feed, then post, then reels, then all the other pillars will decline. So Instagram story is not the only one declining, right? So you need to investigate, growth team need to investigate why the DAU decline, right? Whether the DAU decline from your new users, basically you are not acquiring as many users as you should, or the DAU come from the existing user, basically you are not engaging them from notifications and emails, right? So the growth team need to investigate in this. It's not Instagram stories problem. And that is from the top of funnel, right? And then after members come into the platform, it depends on which channel they come from. If they come from, let's say, notification, then it depends on the notification landing page, right? There will be specific notifications that land you on Instagram stories or on the homepage. And that is something that you want to check as well. The notifications, the emails that land the members on Instagram stories or homepage, whether there is a decline on notification or email sent, notification and email received, notification and email open rate, click-through rate. That is the stuff that you want to look at, right? And those are the upcoming channels, right? And then after members land on Instagram story or land on homepage, that's when you want to talk about the creation process, right? Whether there is a decline initiating the creation, whether there is a decline posting the content, right? That's where you need to analyze user journey. That's how you investigate in a gradual change diagnose. But yeah,
I think I talk a little bit for check maybe is there any change in the product or other feature, but I didn't dive it more detail. Like maybe in this part I should just change to talk about the user journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
When you talk about new feature releases, that's like basically the workflow is different, right? Like you want to check all the new releases, check all the experiment reports to see whether there is significant change on Instagram story created, right? But on the other hand, you also want to know like what if there are a bunch of like small features that accumulated this impact, right? So probably something that you cannot see from the experiment report, you want to check from the user journey.
That's right.
Any questions?
Should we also check about some active users? Like I mentioned before, like for some of them are new users, some of them are existing user, and some of them are like churned user. Like, will this one helpful, you feel?
Yeah, that's what I said, right? Top of funnel, you have to check daily active user. If it's the daily active user drop, then you have to break it down to see whether it is new users, then it is the growth team, acquisition team.
Oh, okay.
If it is existing user, then it is email and notification calling back users, right?
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and my last question is for you mentioned before, like for the per user. Yeah, I feel it definitely because we have lots of fake accounts or something else, so it's really not durable. But I'm considering like then what kind of like matrix will be more helpful compared to per user? Should I do like total number?
Yeah, usually we just do total number.
Okay, just do total number. Okay. So maybe a kind of total number, and I can do a little bit for the time frame, like from, like total number, maybe per month
Per day.
or per day. Oh wait,
Definitely
per day.
per day.
Okay, I will do per day.
Yeah, if like the whole company is tracking daily active user, why is your Instagram story tracking monthly numbers? It doesn't really make sense.
Okay.
And also, how big is the number if you track monthly? They have 1 billion DAU.
Yeah.
Multiply 30. Do you want to dedupe?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, so this is how you answer an executional question, right? Like all the questions that I bring up to you to challenge your answer is whether you can execute on it. You can't, most likely. Like monthly metric is very hard, right? And also per user is very hard. How are you gonna let me to do it, right? The metrics that you talk about is something that the data scientist can track. Analyzing the content, no, I can't do it. You are asking me to develop an AI algorithm to analyze the content to identify whether they're merchants or not. Ridiculous, right? This is executional question. You're talking with your cross-functional partners, and I will think about whether it is doable or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I write down advertisement, but I forgot to mention it's like I just talk with you for the merchant part, and then I just forgot the advertisement part.
It's
And
totally fine. Just keep in mind, platform like this is always a marketplace, right? Content creator, content consumer, advertisement managers, advertisement consumers, right? We don't even talk about advertisement conversions, right? Because they are definitely tracking conversions, whether it is charged by impression, charged by clicks, charged by lead generation, charged by purchase, right? So if you dive even deeper to make it a 5 out of 5 answer, you probably even want to talk about from the consumer side, then the ads performance is something that the marketers want to track. So you probably want to see cost per clicks, cost per impression, cost per reach, cost per conversion, cost per website visit, whatever, right? The key metrics that you're tracking for advertisement. So this is how you make your answer 5 out of 5.
that makes sense. Okay.